Hello everybody, Joe with AVADirect here to talk about something that's it's a thing, what are we? Bro! The avatar! You know, the avatar that we just rebuilt and made new for VR and games. Alright, so the new avatar that we're relaunching with a brand new look and a brand new design to help you play those brand new VR games, because that is always been the focus of our avatar system. It was to provide something for you without the guesswork of knowing and having to know what specifications you need to run VR content. Now, let's talk about some of the design changes that we have with the avatar. As you can see, it's very similar to the Carbide Air 240 case that uses a micro ATX form factor, and we wanted to keep the avatar that same form factor, mainly due to the fact that you already have a big room space that you got to set up for VR. We don't want you to have a big, ugly tower standing somewhere in the system to either A, create another obstacle for you to run into, or B, just take the focus off of what you're really trying to do, and that's immerse yourself in something that is already pretty badass as is, right? So notice the 3 tempered glass panels, different from the Carbide 240 Air where they were the mesh design. The front was more of kind of a plastic combined with mesh, and the side panels were just your typical acrylic side panels with, like, you know, the metal cutout. Corsair went crazy with this one, and this is the reason as to why we chose this kind of case, because we really liked the design that it added. And of course, just like the Carbide Air 240, it's got the dual chamber design on the inside, so you have your power supply in the rear with your 2.5-inch storage devices, and that's where you can do all of your cable management, so you don't have to worry about finding the nooks and crannies to hide it all. It's just, it makes it real clean. So that's what we were thinking. That's what we wanted to do for you guys, to give you something that's not an eyesore, but is still real pretty to look at. On to the specifications. For the specifications in this build, we hand selected the components to make sure that you had an enjoyable VR experience. These are what I would consider probably mid-tier requirements for what we would recommend, but they are in no way, shape, or form indicative of the minimum requirements to play VR. So in this system, we have the Asus Strix Z370G motherboard. We have an 8600K i5 6-core processor. We have 16 gigabytes of memory clocked at 2666, a 250 gig M.2 SSD, a 1 terabyte hard disk for you to throw your Steam library or your HTC, Oculus library, whatever you crazy kids are into, and of course, a GTX 1080 Ti. That is going to be the sweet spot for VR gaming. And of course, we will give you options to build these with the new RTX 2000 series when they are available later in September. Another great thing I want to note about this build is the airflow. You can see, if you divert your eyes right over here, we're using a liquid cooler. And the reason for that is, if you use a CPU cooler, it's going to dump a lot of that heat right into the case along with the graphics card and all the other components. When you have a liquid cooler that's attached to act as an exhaust in a case, it pumps that air right out of the case, so then all the other components aren't just cooking in the heat all day. Because you could be cooking with grease, but that's got to stay in the kitchen. If you want a copy of this exact build, typically it's going to go for about $2,500. However, we're going to do a special. We're going to offer this to you at $2,300, and as a way to celebrate the rebirth of the avatar on the Corsair 286 case. Again, that's going to be all dependent on how you guys want to build it. If you want to build it crazy to the gills and you want to put 2 cards in there, feel free. Not going to stop you. Just remember, the game is only as fun as you are having, and if you want to have fun, you should probably play some VR. If you like this video, please select the like button. If you don't, that's okay. We're still your friends. We can talk occasionally, maybe meet for some coffee, or just talk on the phone and pretend we like each other. Either way, you're a nice person and you're important. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel for future news. Again, this is Joe with AVADirect, and you have yourself a VR day.